Hi there. When you're hurt by someone, even when it's unintentional, it's normal to have negative feelings. But if you let those feelings have free rein in your mind and spirit, they can turn to bitterness. And bitterness has serious negative consequences mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and even physically. If you're stuck in resentment or bitterness, here are a few practical things you can do to set yourself free. First, ask yourself, what purpose is this negative emotion serving? Is it payback? Is it an attitude of I'm right or I get to be the victim? Resentment is an indicator that you need to have a serious conversation with someone who sinned against you. But have you done that yet? And perhaps you already did do that and they didn't respond as you wanted. They didn't apologize. They weren't sorry. And now you feel stuck in resentment and hurt and bitterness. It's important that you recognize that you are not a helpless victim of your own emotions. Ephesians 4:31 says to get rid of bitterness and rage and anger and brawling and slander, along with every other form of malice, and be kind and compassionate to one another, forgiving each other as Christ forgave you. Ecclesiastes 11:10 says, remove vexation from your heart. You have an important part to play in letting go of your own negative feelings. Even if the other person never is sorry, you don't need them to be sorry for you to do your own work here. Finally, to let go of those emotions, you have to be willing. So ask yourself, what will it cost me to hold on to all this bitterness and resentment? What will it cost my marriage or my other relationships to hang on to these feelings? Now, maybe you're willing to let them go, but you just don't know how to let them go. So there are two important steps in giving up resentment and other negative emotions. Saying that you want to. And the first step is externalizing those feelings. See, most of us are in the habit of over-identifying with our emotions as if we are our feelings. And a way to break this habit is to recognize how you talk about them. For example, instead of saying I'm resentful, say I am aware that I'm feeling resentful. It's important to realize that you are not your feelings. Giving yourself some space by saying it in this new way will allow you to do something about your negative emotions. The second step is to learn to behave or act out of the opposite virtue. For example, when the Apostle Paul tells us to get rid of negative feelings, he doesn't just stop there. He also tells us to do the opposite, to be kind, compassionate, forgiving. Jesus says the same thing when he tells us to love our enemy. We don't feel loving toward our enemy, but Jesus tells us to act out those feelings so that we don't get caught in our hatred and resentment and bitterness toward our enemy. When you want to lose negative emotions, embrace an opposite virtue, because it's impossible to feel two opposite emotions such as anger and compassion or laziness and diligence at the same time. Acting out the opposite virtue, one that you want to embrace, doesn't mean you're a hypocrite. It just means your current emotional state doesn't get to dictate how you treat someone, including yourself. Instead, you choose to act according to the person you want to be or become, rather than how you feel at any particular moment. Now, if you need more help in learning specific ways on how to get rid of negative emotions, you'll find a lot of that help in my book, Lord, I Just Want to Be Happy. Take care, and God bless.